This is the Flash Focus 2025 NL Central Preview. I'm Deej. I'm here with my brother Smokey. What's up, Smokes?
Hey, how's it going? Doing
It,
pretty good.
yeah, man. All right, let's talk about these teams. So first of all, we got the Milwaukee Brewers. They finished in first place last time. They won 93 games, 10 ahead of the Cubs. So I'm thinking that they're gonna be about the same team as last year. I'm not sure that there are any major additions or subtractions. Anyone you can think of?
Willie Adamus, the
That's right.
shortstop,
Yes,
is on.
great call. Yeah, Willie Adames. That is huge. He is he's on the Giants now, and they didn't really replace him with anybody. Looks like. So that'll be a huge blow. You know, he's a 6 WAR player, so that can knock him back from a division leader to a wild card contender. Uh, so looking over their lineup real quick, they got Christian Yelich back. He's apparently healthy and looking forward to a full season. So that could help offset some of the Willie Adames loss because Yelich has been injured much of the past few years. Be good to get him back. They got Reese Hoskins at first. Looks like they got Yelich DHing. They got some exciting youngsters. Churio getting he's going to be really good, and he's going to be playing. He's another year older. Frelick and Terang were both really good youngsters last year. Not sure if they were literally rookies, but they definitely were very young and had their first full and impressive seasons from both of those guys. And Contreras, a catcher, and Eric Haas, his backup, is also he's a pretty good backup. So looking at the left side of their infield, looks like they're going with defense because none of these guys are really known quantities with the bat. And kind of ditto there in center field. They got some glove first guys up there. So I kind of like what I see. They got a few big boppers and very solid defense everywhere. What you thinking about their lineup there, Smokey?
I feel like they're young and they've got some good players that are young, and they've got some veterans. Hoskins and Yelich and Contreras at catcher. I feel like they're very solid. They've got a solid mix of veterans and young guys, and they want the young guys to grow into their roles. And I think Churio's a exciting young player. Ortiz may surprise, Turang may surprise, and Frelick may surprise. And if they get great contribution from those guys, they could be in the thick of it.
Yeah. So looking at their rotation, Peralta's pretty good. Woodruff was pretty good, but he's coming off of I believe he missed all of last year. Was it Tommy John or some other surgery?
I think it was shoulder
Yeah, that
surgery.
sounds right. And then Cortez from the Yankees, he's good, not great. So I'd probably rank their rotation: Peralta, Cortez, Woodruff, and then Savali. Longtime Cleveland Guardian. He was kind of frustrating. He would look really good for a while and then just get lit up for a while. I think he's definitely got the potential to be good, but he's about to be 30 and he hasn't really ever settled in. But maybe he's a late bloomer. So looking at this rotation, it's not really. There's not much of a playoff look to it. I feel like it's one of those rotations that could really be overwhelmed by a much better one. This is kind of looking like a C+ rotation to me. What do you think about these starters?
Yeah, I don't feel like any of them are a one or two.
Yeah,
So it's going to be kind of an uphill battle if you go head to head with the one and two on another team. It's kind of a tough look. I got to be honest.
yeah. I mean, Woodruff, I would say, is a former number two pre-surgery, but with shoulder surgery, just so hard to know what to expect from guys. Peralta is fringy number two. But yeah, it's a bunch of number threes, so it's definitely not going to be their strength. But they got some decent depth there too. They could withstand a couple injuries and not be too bad off. So let's look at this bullpen here right quick. McGill, Piamps. They got a couple decent veteran relievers, but a lot of unknown quantities. A lot of these guys I just haven't heard of. They did have a pretty solid bullpen last year, but it was losing Devin Williams is huge. I mean, just they lost Hader a couple years ago, and now Williams. So they went from having literally the best 1-2 punch of any bullpen to losing both those guys, and just kind of doing a patchwork with youngsters. Looks like. How are you feeling about this bullpen?
I think it's going to be their Achilles heel.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it, and I don't know how they're going to close out games.
Yeah, none of these guys. I mean, I don't have the stats right in front of me, but I have no recollection of any of these guys being a closer at any point. Payamps, I feel like, is the most obvious candidate of all these guys, but yeah, who knows? They're just going to have to hope somebody really steps up in spring training.
Yeah, I think Megill, he was the closer while Williams was on the injured list. At the beginning of last year with his back problems.
Yeah, those are basically the 8th and 9th inning guys in some order. All right, so what you thinking for how many wins for these Brewers in 2025?
I'll go with 85.
85. Yeah, losing Devin Williams and Willie Adames, that is pretty huge. They did add Nestor Cortez, so the rotation is in a little better shape, and they're hopefully going to get a full season of Yelich. He's one of my favorite players that's on another team, and he's their superstar, so I'm hoping that works out. I don't know if they'll backslide 8 whole games. I'll take the over on that. I'll give them 88 wins. All right, let's move on to the Cubbies. All right, let's take a look at this lineup. So they picked up Kyle Tucker, but they lost Paredes. So that's Tucker is one of the best hitters in the big leagues. He's hit 30 homers 3 or 4 times, and he's only 26, 27. Very talented young guy. Just looking at this lineup, it's a very young team. Suzuki at DH, he's been pretty good. Happ, Crow, Armstrong, Swanson's a pretty good veteran. Nico Horner, another young veteran, late young guy type of guy. This lineup is kind of. It reminds me of the Guardians lineups a couple years ago, where we had a bunch of decent guys without any real holes, but outside of Jose Ramirez, there weren't like a lot of superstars. I'm not in love with this lineup really at all. I mean, Tucker is definitely the belle of the ball here, and then Happ is also very good, and Swanson's a very good shortstop. I don't know, it's okay. There's no huge holes. They got some decent bench players there, but this is kind of a middling lineup, middling good. I don't know, maybe like on the 80 point scale there, I'd give it a 45 or so. What do you think of this batting order here, Smokey?
I really feel like they're gonna kind of take a step forward. I think Pete Crow Armstrong is a very highly regarded prospect, and I think Justin Turner is like that veteran that they kind of need to bring those young players along, like Shaw and Bush. Bush looked pretty good last year, and Nico Horner, he's injured. He had that flexor tendon surgery.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
I don't think he's going to be ready. For that series in Japan versus the Dodgers, but I think he'll play most of the season. I think he's supposed to be a pretty good hitter, and I think if the young guys continue to develop, they're going to have a very, very strong lineup. They got a good mix of veterans like Ian Happ and Dansby Swanson, and one of the signings that I actually think is very under the radar is John Birdie.
He's a really good utility guy. I've always admired him from afar.
Those are underrated. Those are highly underrated. And Seiya Suzuki's still there. He's a good hitter.
Yeah.
He kind of gets lost in the mix there. He's not the greatest fielder, but Kyle Tucker is a huge upgrade. He's a top 5 hitter in all of Major League Baseball. 400 on base percentage, last year. He's just a phenomenal hitter. I think this is probably one of the best lineups in the NL Central. It's
Really?
pretty scary.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, certainly some excellent players here. All right, now this rotation, I am. This is one of the better rotations in the Central, I would say. Shota Imanaga was, I think he might have gotten some Cy Young attention last year. Justin Steele had that terrific year 2 years ago. Boyd only got about 10 starts last year, but he was lights out. I could see him having a really good comeback season. And then, Tyon, Assad, Colin Ray, all, all very capable of having, number 4, number 3 type seasons. This is a pretty good rotation. It's definitely their strength, I would say. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a very deep rotation. They got a couple extra arms, which I think it's going to play into it over the course of the season. I think it's going to help them win additional games by having those additional arms. Ben Brown, the good young pitcher that's coming up. Javier Assad's banged up right now. We'll see how he does, but Steele, Imanaga, uh, Rhea looked really good against the Guardians in spring training. They're deep. That's a deep rotation. Very very impressive.
Yeah, definitely look out for these guys. All right, let's look at the bullpen. Getting Presley, I assume he's their closer. That is a great pickup. He's getting up there in age. I think he's like 37 or so now, but he's still very capable of being a top of the line closer. Ryan Brazier, veteran reliever. Caleb Thielbar, longtime Twin. He's pretty good when he's healthy. A couple of former Guardians there, and Merriweather and Morgan. Morgan's a pretty good, like back of the bullpen type of guy. He's never going to be a closer or anything, but he's consistently put up like decent numbers. He's all right. Yeah, this is certainly a solid bullpen. I wouldn't call this an Achilles heel or anything. It's definitely got a couple very impressive names. What do you think?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's a solid bullpen. I don't think Presley's going to be the lights out closer that he was when he was younger. Getting up there in age, but I think the major issue is if Presley can't get it done, who's going to be their closer? I don't know if they have a closer in waiting there. Brazier was definitely a great pickup from the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And they've Merriweather looked really good so far in spring training. Hard thrower. Eli Morgan, he can throw some quality innings, and he can throw multiple innings, being a former starter. Same with Merriweather, if you need it. I like the pen. I think it's solid. Not impressive, but definitely solid.
All right. So overall for the Cubbies, how many wins do you think?
We're looking at 88.
You want to go 88? I'm going to give them. I'll take the over on that. I think they made some really good improvements and have some youngsters, growing up another year. I think they're a threat to leapfrog the Brewers. I'll go with 90 wins for the Cubs. All right, let's take a look at the third place Cardinals. Now, just historically speaking, the Cardinals are never bad. I believe I once read that they have not had back-to-back losing seasons since 1958 and 1959, if you ignore shortened seasons like 2020 and the strike years. So basically, the Cardinals are never bad for more than a year. So, I can't see, no matter what is wrong with this club, they're never going to be terrible. They'll always just find a way. Newt Barr is a very good player. Jordan Walker there in right field, a very, very highly regarded youngster. The Nolans, Gorman looks great at second base. Mason Wynn really turned some heads at short. Arenado, I assume they're just still trying to get rid of him. I'm not exactly sure what's up with that. He's still a good player, but maybe there's just some... He wants to go play for a winner. He's in his mid-30s, and they're just kind of having trouble meeting his trade demands. Contreras looks like they're moving him full-time to first. Definitely Brendan Donovan. I always forget about that guy because he's a multi-position player. I like that guy a lot. I think he's a a very good player, and he can really kind of help fill in the gaps if some of these guys falter because he can play like every position. I like this lineup. A lot of people are calling for the Cardinals to be kind of bad, like maybe like 70 something wins, or around 500 if not. But I'm kind of liking this lineup. I think it has a lot of upside. I think it could score a lot of runs. What do you think?
I think it's okay. It's a decent lineup. A lot of young guys, couple veterans. I don't feel like this is a team that's going to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
They spent most of the off season trying to trade people.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible for morale. They still will try to trade people at the trade deadline. I just don't. I don't see them being one of the better teams in the NL Central.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly looks like they're sellers right now. But this rotation, they got Sonny Gray. Like Gray is one of the most underrated starting pitchers out there. He's been really good for a decade at this point. Fedde he would think he was pitching in Korea, came back last year and was really good for the lowly White Sox. Michaelis, he's getting up there in age, but he's good. The veteran who's had many good seasons. Not sure how much more he's got left in the tank. Matt's kind of hit the wall. Yeah, this rotation is it's kind of top heavy. It's kind of Gray and Fedde, and then who knows what to expect after that. If they somehow squeak into the playoffs, they got this. I like their 1-2, and then it just really drops off after that. What you seen here, Smoke?
I can't see that rotation staying healthy.
Yeah.
Nicolas, Sonny Gray. I don't know much about some of those guys like Liberatore and McGreevy. They're probably some of their higher prospects, but I just can't see them staying healthy.
Yeah, McGreevy needs to be on the White Sox. Sorry, but that is a Boston name. Yeah, so kind of mixed results there with this rotation. Yeah, bullpen, Helsley, one of the best there is. A couple other decent relievers here, but yeah, this is a very top-heavy bullpen. It's got, they got one ace and then a bunch of question marks. Not many known quantities here. It's really hard to know what to make of a bullpen like this. I don't know. Any words on the Cards bullpen?
No, I feel like the ace is good and everyone else is kind of a question mark. You've got if the rotation starts taking on water and you get a lot of guys that are going 4 or 5 innings, I can't see them getting to the closer.
Yeah. Yeah. So overall, what I'm thinking on this team is not. Yeah, it's not really playoff material, especially if they're planning on being sellers. So how many wins are you thinking for the Cardinals?
I'll go with 75.
75. Yeah, I'll be a little more generous. I think they have a better shot at being 500. I'll go with 81. I think they're a little better than that, but yeah, I definitely don't see them as playoff contenders, unfortunately. All right, let's take a look at these Cincinnati Reds. A couple of pickups. Austin Hayes, I believe, is new this year. Got a couple of veterans coming back. Matt McLean, I believe, missed all of last year. Nice pickup in Gavin Lux. Got a good young outfield. TJ Friedel, Jake Fraley, Spencer Steer, Encarnacion Strand, Heimer Candelario. Candelario is a good ball player. A lot of people don't talk about him, but he's been pretty decent for a few years now. And Tyler Stevenson's a very good catcher. This lineup. Ellie Dela Cruz, of course, at short, the superstar. He's so exciting to watch. This is a good lineup without much star power, but I think it's very solid. There's no real holes anywhere. I think they got someone decent slotted in pretty much everywhere. Any words on this batting order?
Yeah, it's a really good batting order. Ellie De La Cruz is a dark horse MVP candidate. Matt McLean is a heck of a hitter. You just got to stay healthy. Gavin Lux is, he's a nice depth piece, really. I mean, he can hit righties. Spencer Steer, he's having shoulder problems. He's still not healthy, which is, kind of a sore point there. But I think they're going to hit. They're going to hit a lot. They're going to score a lot of runs. It's a smaller ballpark. I think it's gonna be a pretty good lineup. One of the better lineups in the NL Central.
Yeah, I could see this team finishing top five in runs scored in the NL for sure. This rotation, this might be the best rotation the Reds have had in a while. Hunter Green, I believe he got some Cy Young attention. Very good youngster. They picked up Brady Singer from the Royals for Jonathan India. And then just kind of a lateral move picking up Gavin Lux. I feel like Lux and India are pretty comparable players. Abbott, Lodolo. I'm kind of liking this rotation. It's they got that Green Singer has a chance to be a really good 1-2 punch, and they got some decent backup there. Wade Miley, Nick Martinez. What do you think about this rotation?
Very good rotation. It's very deep,
Right.
too. Rhett Lauder is on the cusp of being in the majors. He's one of their hot prospects. Wade Miley is good depth. Yeah, I really like Nick Martinez. Being the fifth choice, and Abbott's a really good pitcher. And if one of their starters goes down, they have depth, and that's a good thing to have.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the bullpen. This is a very good bullpen. They got Alexis Diaz, who was one of the best closers last year. Pagan, veteran pitcher, who is excellent against everybody except the Guardians. Like, seriously, look at his splits. He's got like a friggin' 12 ERA against the Guardians or something. It's crazy. And then that is Taylor Rogers, the lefty, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great pitcher. Sam Moll, very good veteran reliever. Ditto Brent Suter. Barlow, former Guardian. He's not great, but he can be a decent piece. Ashcraft, looks like they moved him to the bullpen. Was looking like a decent starter for a while there. What's up with Ashcraft? Any insight there?
I think he's just a flex kind of guy. Just probably like an innings eater type person.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is definitely looking like a plus. I'm very impressed with this bullpen. Any words, Smokey?
Yeah, I mean they have one, two, three, four guys with closing experience. I mean that's a very positive. They went out and got some bullpen guys, and that along with Lux, very smart. Very smart. I like their depth. I like how they have extra players in the rotation, in the bullpen, and in the lineup.
Yeah, there's a couple really good bench players there. With Will Benson, former Guardian, Gavin Lux, kind of there to move around. Steer and Encarnacion, Strand. Yeah, I'm definitely very impressed. They don't really have any glaring holes anywhere, and they got some stars and super. They got Ellie De La Cruz. They got Hunter Green, and they got Diaz. I mean, they got like a top 10 guy at every which way you look. Yeah, I'm very impressed with the Reds this year. So, what are you thinking win wise for these Reds?
I give them 91.
91. Yeah, that's about right. I definitely am thinking this is the best team in the division at this point. 91. I'll take the over on that. I'll go with the 92 just to make it interesting. I think 91 feels about right too, though. All right, and last and certainly not least, the Pittsburgh Pirates. So the Pirates have their core. They've had Brian Reynolds. They've had Brian Hayes. A couple interesting pickups here, and they got McCutcheon at DH, of course. O'Neal Cruz, very exciting youngster. Hopefully, he can stay healthy this year. They got veteran Tommy Pham. He's just on a different team every year and gets traded to a different team every year. I guess he's on the Pirates this year and he'll end up somewhere else. Adam Frazier, very good bench guy, kind of moving around. Brief Guardian Spencer Horwitz looks to be the regular first baseman, and Joey Bart is going to be playing a catcher. He was very good last year. So this is a very impressive lineup with a lot of upside. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like they've got a good mix of veterans and young guys. I feel like if they can stay healthy, yeah, they can be a pretty good lineup.
Yeah, this is definitely the best lineup they've had in a while since since McCutcheon was a superstar about 8-10 years ago, and they had Marte and Mercer and Josh Harrison and those guys. So they're definitely on the up and up. All right, the rotation. Paul Skeens. I'm so excited to see what this guy can do with a full season. He's probably the favorite for the Cy Young. #1 overall pick, came up and immediately got got Cy Young votes in his rookie year and didn't even pitch a full season. Mitch Keller, Jared Jones are solid guys behind him. Andrew Heaney is low-key a decent, #3, #4 type guys. This is a very top-heavy bullpen rotation, as any rotation containing Paul Skeens would be. I love the thought of them making the playoffs and Skeens and Keller and Jones being their 1, 2, 3. I think that can work. What are you thinking about this rotation? Any words?
Yeah, it looked really good to start off, and then it just completely falls off a cliff.
It falters
after the #4.
Yeah.
Paul Skeens is a Cy Young candidate. Jared Jones is very good. Keller is very good. Heaney is, he's a lefty and he's solid. He puts up solid numbers. But after that, I couldn't tell you who any of these guys are.
Yeah. All right, this bullpen, man. David Bednar is, the veteran. I think he had a rough season last year. And then, man, I've barely heard of any of these guys. I can't say much about them. I'm not seeing anything that makes me think this is a good bullpen. Am I missing anything here, or is this just a bunch of no-namers?
It looks like an Achilles heel.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, unless I'm missing something, and, this is a division I don't pay much attention to as a Guardians fan, but I just don't really see anything good here, for sure. Yeah, this is absolutely the Achilles heel of the team. So, overall, I would say a very good batting order and a good rotation with a no doubt ace and who the F knows bullpen. So, all right, overall, what's this team looking like win-wise to you?
I mean, if they could have picked up some guys in the bullpen this offseason, I would have said they're good enough to win the division. But, I think they're going to be an 87-win team. I think Skeens is going to pitch out of his mind, and Jared Jones and Mitch Keller, all those guys are going to win games, but the bullpen's going to blow some.
Yeah. So Skeens, man, he could literally be worth 8 to 10 WAR. I would not be surprised if he put up that kind of crazy season. Well, not 10, but I could see 8. Yeah, 87. That's a good guess. I'll take the under on that. We're being a little generous with the wins here so far with a lot of winning teams. I think they are probably slated for 4th place, but I wouldn't be surprised if they finish as high as 2nd. I think they got a shot. So, all right, well, that does it for the NL Central. It looks like we both have the Reds winning, but with a lot of competition from everyone else except the Cardinals, who will probably be bad but not awful. So check out our page. We'll put a poll in there. Let us know who you think's going to win. All right, well, stay tuned. I'll see you soon. Thanks, Smokey.
Of course. Have a good one.